Welcome back to another the business checkup segment here on my channel. I am Simone Henry, marketing consultant and automation specialist. And today we have DeAndre, right? DeAndre
Right, yeah,
Good.
yeah, very good. Yes.
Yes, and he has an e-commerce delivery platform that is available on iOS and Android. So go ahead, say hi,
Okay. How
DeAndre, and
y'all
tell
doing?
us
How
about
y'all doing?
yourself and your
Okay.
business.
Okay. Hello, my name is DeAndre Good. I'm from Houston, Texas. My company is called Urban Goods. We are a marketplace delivery platform for minority-owned businesses. So essentially, we're a hybrid of Amazon, DoorDash, and Shopify. Currently, we operate in Houston, Texas, Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. Soon to open up in Atlanta and Memphis, Tennessee. A little bit about us, our metrics. We have over 15,000 customers to date. Do about $60,000 per month in monthly sales. We process about $60,000 a month in sales on our platform. Consistently growing. We've just now introduced a what is that? Franchising model that we're actually playing with right now, and so that's who we are, consistently growing and just grinding this thing on out. We built this platform for minority-owned businesses to actually level the playing field in this space, because it is a $2 trillion per year industry. And much like NFL and NBA, we don't own any of the platforms that we spend this money on. So that's what we did. That's why we built Urban Goods.
Okay, fantastic. So you're doing, so is it kind of, uh, you said it's like Amazon, and it's delivery. Is it like people sign up and as a driver and they go pick things up and deliver it to,
Yeah,
okay.
it's a mixture of that. What happens is we cater to minority-owned businesses. We start off as Urban Eats, but then we went through a rebranding last year and changed to Urban Goods, because we deliver consumer goods. That's our bread and butter, for the most part. So if there's a vendor that if they sell anything from hair products, boutiques, any type of consumer goods that vendors have on hand, of course they sign up onto our platform. Customer place an order on the platform. Our drivers will go pick those orders up and deliver it to anywhere within 50 miles within an hour that order was placed. So, I mean, you can think of somebody as a customer. You have somewhere to go tonight. Sunday fun day. You don't have an outfit to wear. You don't feel like going to the mall. You're getting your hair done or whatever the case may be. You don't have the time. You can go on our platform, place an order from one of the boutiques that's on the platform, and that order will be delivered to you. That dress or, that hair or whatever you need can be delivered to you within an hour that's placed to anywhere within 50 miles. So if you see it on our platform, it can be delivered.
That is fantastic. So you're giving small businesses access to the same kinds of tools and leverage that bigger companies have.
Right. One thing about it is my thinking when it came to it was that, the best shopping, the best food in every city come from the smaller places, that if you're not from those areas, you wouldn't know where those places were. Like in Houston, if you want to eat like a true Houstonian, you have to go into some of the, marginalized communities, some of the hoods, so, and if you're not from there, you would know to go shop there, so that's where we Houstonians go to, or any other major city in the country, like where you from?
I'm from the DC.
Okay, so there are
DC.
places in DC that if I come to visit DC and I want to shop and eat like I'm from DC, where you all go to, I'd have to be tapped into y'all's community. That's what we built it for.
Okay, fantastic. So, so as a platform, you're giving exposure to a lot of these smaller shops, smaller businesses that maybe people wouldn't necessarily know are there unless they're on the platform.
Right.
So that's fantastic. So how are you attracting the businesses to join the platform?
You know, word of mouth has been our biggest thing. But I mean, of course, do social media marketing, because we have to do 3-tiered marketing plans, one for drivers, one for vendors, one for customers. So With social media marketing, we've participated in several different pitch competitions and got exposure that way. We tapped in a lot of different networks and we got a lot of exposure that way. So, but the biggest thing when it comes to us is just the customers seeing potential vendors seeing what other vendors are being able to do. Because every business on our platform has increased their revenue probably around about 30% month over month, since joining our platform. And because that's our thing is we want to help these small businesses grow. And that's been our biggest selling point.
Okay. So mostly word of mouth, and pitch competitions, people talking about it, social media.
Yeah, and traditional marketing channels. I mean, we've done, we've been all as far as Love and Marriage Huntsville. I was on that show last year, Roland Martin show. We leveraged all those different platforms for our marketing efforts.
Okay. So the people who say they saw you on Roland Martin's show and maybe they went to your website or they downloaded your app, are they able to, as they're downloading your app, are you messaging them on a consistent basis to let them know like, hey, we're still here, or you ordered something last week, today is a good day to order something again.
Yes.
Do that kind of thing?
The way I built the app is, yes, we actually, just today is Juneteenth. So, we actually can send out push notifications through the platform itself. So if we get a new vendor, or if a vendor has some type of marketing plan with us, then we actually send out notifications to all of our customers, which I can just sit right here on my computer and say, hello, good morning. And, every customer that we have, all 15,000 plus, will get those notifications.
Okay. So, so are you just doing notifications? You're not doing emails at all?
We were, but we had an issue with some of those emails. So, I think we have to rebuild another funnel for it.
Okay. All right. So the emails had some issues.
Yeah, the email, because what it is when it comes to the sign up process onto the platform, it didn't mirror the email, so we didn't actually have all of that information, so it was easier for, we didn't have all the email information, every customer's email information, because some of them had the option not to put their email on there. So right. So that's something that I'd have to change internally in my code, which I just haven't done it. But it's just we've been utilizing just the actual notifications with who's the company we use? Twilio, I think Twilio, and just use it right directly through the app itself, because it's easier for us.
Okay. Interesting. So all right. So the email capture is something that sounds like it can be improved. I do, you do have the push notifications, which is great, but contacting people in on multiple channels is always a good thing too. So then that means that any nurturing that you're doing, making sure that people are constantly being reminded of you and they're getting news and finding out what it is you're doing, what you're up to, any sales that you have. All of that is coming through the push notifications and the social media.
Yes. It's coming through the push notifications and the social media for the most part.
Okay. So as far as converting them into, I would say, like, the people who are downloading the app who want to use it to find the vendors, I would say that they're probably, or would you say that they are probably, already converted customers, right? Or would you think that, do you keep numbers on how many people download the app versus how many people are actively using it on a monthly basis?
Yes, we do. I think what was it? I think we process like maybe 1,500 orders a month, something like that. For between the markets that we all of them combined. And so when the customers download the app, for the most part, yes, because yes, they are there. I guess they pretty much converted, because every time we get a new vendor, depending on their market size, we usually get about an extra 300 customers per vendor we onboard onto the platform.
Okay.
And because we are an extension of that vendor, so we partner with those vendors. We don't work for them, they don't work for us. We're all partners. And so when we onboard this new vendor, we essentially end up getting 300 new customers who turn around and probably end up being customers of somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Because they find out about somebody, oh, they're looking for hair, but then, oh, there's a boutique right here, or there's the shoe place, or, so that's how it kind of works, so that's kind of how it works for us. But I mean, when it comes to converting, I think what we probably want to do, we want to streamline it a little bit better, put those systems in place, and we hired a company to do it. That's a whole other heartbreak, is what I was, I lost a lot of money behind it, but, we want to streamline those processes and those systems, in order, because, running a business, you're trying to wear too many hats and can't, look over everybody's shoulder. And so that's one of the things I think I probably would want to be able to improve upon, just the cold factor of it all, the people who do not know anything about us, period, and then they'll be able to convert those people.
Yeah. Okay. So that lead flow needs to be streamlined.
Right. It's streamlined into what the system, it just runs by itself,
Yeah, absolutely. Shoot, I'm all about that. I am all about that. I just read a book that talked about scheduling a 4-week vacation and actually booking it, where you can walk away from your business. And basically it's an incentive for you to put processes and systems in place so that you can actually take that vacation, walk away for 4 weeks, and your business is not going to fall apart, right? So it's kind of basically you're setting yourself a deadline to make sure that your business is set up in such a way that it's your processes, your systems are in place. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome. And that's definitely something I want to do, because a year from now, like, wouldn't it be awesome to be on a beach in Hawaii? So, okay. So, lead flow. Do you charge businesses to be on your platform?
No. And that initial sign up, and the reason why when we first started, we weren't, but it was one of those things where it was like, okay, we go through the whole process, show them how the system works, all that kind of stuff there. And boom, next thing you know, they would, of course they might have signed up, but they wouldn't do their part as far as putting their stuff onto the app platform and all that kind of stuff there. So of course we had to, look, if they got some skin in the game, then, and of course, we're not just wasting our time by, because a lot of that would take probably about an hour, I guess we probably about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour with going through the whole system for a new vendor. And so that's what we started charging, but we don't charge a monthly fee. We just take our percentage. My thing was we want to earn what we make, so all of our money is made from, the orders that we process.
Okay. So you're like taking a piece of each order that comes through.
Yes, I'll take a piece of each order that comes through and a piece of the delivery charge that comes through. Because like our average order is $42 per order. About $13 per delivery charge. You take 23% of each order and 20% of the delivery charge, and vendors are able to make a lot more money on our platform because we take a lesser percentage than on those other platforms, but we actually have a vested interest in helping our community grow. So that's why.
Okay. So it sounds to me like that onboarding piece can maybe use a little bit more more support, would you say? A bit more streamlining. So what if you were to put in place, when a new vendor comes on board, they got a systematic, onboarding lesson course. Say they were to, you set them up on a website or something where they were to watch the videos and you told them do this, do that, do the other thing. And, and they went through that process. But for the ones who wanted more hands-on help or a done for you process, then you would charge them for that and you get them set up. It takes you an hour or so. And for them, it's like, okay, easy peasy. I just signed up. I'm good to go in an hour. You know,
Right.
what do you think
Y-
about something like that?
oh, of course, actually, I had a meeting yesterday with a company called Copilot Innovations. And because we're gonna do some web scraping,
Mm.
to where I guess to kind of what web scraping is. I don't know if you're familiar with web scraping, but it would take all the information from various platforms and just populate my platform with it. And then so all of that
Mhm.
stuff is done. A majority of those fields are populated already. And then
Okay.
all we have to do is follow up with the phone call, like, look, you're already here already, and of course keep track of that information. But that's something else we'd have to do, start keep track of the information of how many customers are interested in this particular vendor, relay that information to that vendor, and then say, hey, look, we've had 50 inquiries about you, but you're not on our platform because we're not tied into our API. You know, now
That's
this is money that
interesting.
you've missed. So that, and that's something that I'm probably going to do. I'm not going to, not probably, I'm going to do, I'm actually
Yeah.
started the process last night, but it's still one of those things to where now I got to bring some other people onto our team to manage those things,
Right. All
So
right. So, okay, so you're using it as kind of a selling point, right? Hey, you're not on our platform. Look at what could be if you were. Um, so that sounds really good as a selling point. But it's also great as an onboarding tool.
right. And
Right. Sounds to
that's
me.
that's part that goes back to those systems we were talking about. See,
Hmm.
having those systems, having systems, the right types of systems, and you said something that I thought about when I first started, but I didn't want to be the one on the video. Um, they talking about the whole make the video, let them sit down and watch it. I just didn't want to be on the video. I didn't even want my company to be Urban Goods because, I didn't want it to be about myself. So
Right.
like, but those are things that we've thought about. But
Mhm.
you see how this AI stuff is right now, but I don't want to do it with AI, because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
stuff it just
It can feel
it
impersonal.
right there you go. I don't want to do the AI stuff. AI is cool for certain things, but I think a lot of people are overutilizing it,
True.
and kind of getting comfortable with and like I saying it takes with us being for the community, you know, and one thing about myself as the founder and CEO, I'm relatable and I'm accessible. You know,
Mhm.
I mean, people access, they'll mess around and hit me up on social media, and I will respond, even though we actually have the business phone numbers and all these different channels they can reach out to us, but I just think the AI stuff, a lot of people are utilizing that and it takes away from the business itself.
Yeah, it can feel impersonal and not exactly like it doesn't have that personal feel sometimes.
Do
So,
you think it would
um,
deter you from shopping from someone? For you? Like you're in that marketing type of space, right? So would it kind of be
or
like a deterrent?
it would depend on what it was. I think, for my consulting services, if I'm looking for a coach or consultant, somebody who's going to work with me personally, then no, I wouldn't want to be looking at an AI video that says, hey, do this and do that and do the other thing. And it's, the whole robot voice. Although, they are getting better. They're working on the technology and improving it all the time. But at the same time, that's a very personal service. I'm working with somebody one-on-one. But if it were I might be tempted to put out a commercial for say my software, for my CRM software, where it's pretty standard offerings across the board for everybody in a particular niche. I might be tempted to do that because you're not, especially for DI, for do it yourself services, right?
Mhm.
But if it were, but I might do another one for a higher level service. Say, you'll be working with myself and my team personally if you want it set up for you, that kind of thing. So, I think it would depend.
Okay. Okay. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah. Um, okay, that's cool. So you said that you're offering yourself basically as the person that they come to for support and for help, um, and that's for the vendors. Do you have support services for clients or for people who make the orders and for drivers? And
Yes.
because, like you said, you've got like three different customer bases, really. You've got your drivers, your vendors, and your customers.
Mhm. Yes. Yes, I have a team, in place, in various areas, they sometimes they've been interchangeable, but yes, we actually have a team that actually somebody handles vendors, somebody handles drivers, and somebody actually handles the vendor's journey, because
Mhm.
I've been more so focused on the the fundraising part, for the scaling, so, I actually have a team that handles those things for me that enables me to travel to the places and stuff like that.
Okay, cool. So you would say that system is fairly automated. It's not something that when I say automated, I'm not meaning that it's all being managed by software, even
Oh
though a
no.
lot of it can be, but having a team in place is another type of automation. You're leveraging other people's minds and their time and their talents to
Right.
to
Well,
make
yeah, and
sure.
that's where, you know, that's where things kind of get tricky, when it comes to figuring out what to automate and not. Because as we're growing, let's say 15,000 plus customers from two different states, or soon to be four different states,
Yeah.
um, things of that nature, and so it's like, you know, managing all those. I think we have how many vendors? 186, I believe, like 186 vendors. So between those and thankfully, I'm not gonna swear, but thankfully we haven't had any issues, right? We haven't had any issues, any drop orders, anything like that. So I'm thankful for that. But of course, as we continue to grow, these people are not going to be able to just manage all that themselves either. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
They'll end up becoming overwhelmed. So it's like, okay, now where do I find the fine line between, do I need to hire more people,
Mm,
or automate some of this stuff?
right. And a lot of times when I think about automation, um, you know, I always think about letting the humans do what only the humans can do and let the computer systems take care of the rest. So, say you were getting, say a lot of the work that the vendors are doing, or a lot of the questions that they're answering, or support questions and stuff that come in from vendors, are the same questions. Well, that's something that AI can answer, right?
Right,
Because people are asking the same questions. Why have the humans answer the same questions over and over again? Their time could be spent on more important things or new questions that come in rather than the questions that are being answered on a consistent basis. That's something that you can let AI do. Right. You teach the AI to say, okay, when somebody asks this question, you answer it this way. And that person gets the answer. The AI never has to go to the bathroom, or take a break, take a lunch break or anything like that. Right. It never goes off the clock. and the vendor gets the answer that they're looking for, and they can get back to serving their customers. Whereas new questions that come in are maybe a vendor has a special issue, a unique problem that nobody else really has, that really requires a human to chew over it, right? To think about it. Well, that's something that you're definitely going to want a human being on. And if they're being bogged down with the questions that come in that are, being asked all the time, well, then the person who has a unique question, may have to wait longer. So, so
Right,
when you're
but
thinking
it's one of the
about,
asking the what questions to ask, and that like so like even with what you do, right? So is this something like to where you can sit like I guess maybe send out some type of maybe documentation for lack of a better term to where asking these vendors, hey, if you were to have a problem, write down your, what question would you have to ask, right? Even though, and because like I've, been thinking about that and thinking about teaching the AI stuff, it makes my head hurt. because because like I know what our capabilities are and aren't, you know, and so thinking about now I have to sit up and teach this AI and write down every single question that somebody might ask.
well, that's the thing. You don't teach it questions that you start with the questions that are already being asked.
Okay.
So if there's questions that are coming in or problems that people are already having that you're having to deal with on a consistent basis, teach the AI that. And then as new questions come in, then you're teaching the AI as you go along.
Mhm.
Make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah, it makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah. So you save your people. You save your people from answering the questions that are coming in consistently. Um, you know, those questions that can be answered by AI because you've heard it before.
Right.
So you
Right.
teach the AI what the answer to that question is.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that, I probably should be doing, you know, yeah, because like I say, just what, work smarter, not harder, that's the biggest thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, because you're expanding, and as you're expanding, you want to utilize your people in a more efficient way. And so it's best to take off their plates the stuff that AI can do just as easily, you know.
Okay.
And you end up having to hire less people.
Right. That was my whole entire goal, which was, to run lean. That was my thing, was to run lean. But,
Mhm.
you know, in the work from home space and hiring the right people, that is a little bit that's been a battle in itself, you know, as far as putting hiring the right people, especially like in this area, that area where I'm 3 states away,
Mhm.
you're at home, can't monitor what you're doing, but I still got to pay
Right,
you.
right.
So like I said, that like those are other systems that have to come into place as far as, okay, now how do I manage these people? So that's where we
Mhm.
came in. That's why we came with the franchising model,
Right.
because offering our technology and all this kind of stuff there, and allowing people to, like, if they have skin in the game, you know, and actually, you know, where we allow them to pay it off and all that kind of stuff there, but they actually have ownership, and actually now they know, okay, look, they can manage this stuff themselves as if they were us, but they have the actual added motivation because they're getting paid directly from the platform itself.
True. What I would, my suggestion would be um, to tighten up your systems first before you franchise it.
Mhm.
Because, and I say this because, basically with a franchise, you're allowing another business owner or entrepreneur to they're buying your system.
Mhm.
and there you want them to run it because it's your brand name on it all over it, right? You want them to run it the way you would run it, but they can't do that unless they have like all the instructions and they know what
Right.
to do front to back. You know,
Mhm.
if a person asks this question, what do they do? If whatever, the if a driver is having an issue over here, what happens with that? Um, so when it comes to systems and employees, I I read this book that talked about it. It can be, think of it like a grid, right? If you have kind of crappy systems and a crappy employee, you're going to have bad outcomes, right? If you have a good system, if you have a good employee and a crappy system, you're going to get bad outcomes. But if you have a good system and a good employee, you're going to have good outcomes. But even if you have a good system and a bad employee, you can still have good outcomes because all that employee has to do
It's
is
about the
just
system.
follow the formula, follow the
Right.
system.
Right.
That's it. Right. What do you think about that?
No, yeah, I understand what you're saying. I'm picking up what you're putting down. Yeah, it's just, yeah. Somebody told me a while back, dig deeper instead of go wider.
Yeah.
So I've been, mulling over that part, just digging deeper. And like I say, but the biggest thing, like, which I know I'll tell you, I have that understanding that, like, the systems themselves are the biggest thing, as far as just putting out and making sure those things are ironclad. And when those
Yeah.
things are ironclad, then, I can sit up here and push cruise control and let everything that work for itself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And even when issues come up, people know what to do, or at least, the system is in place to handle just about everything that comes up. And then when things do come up, um, it won't be as bad because the system is in place to handle it. My mentor really schooled me to this. When he asked me, what is a business? And I said, well, it's an organization of people working towards a profit, right? And he said, no. He said, a business is a collection of systems, and the people run the systems. And he really there's an example of this where in I think it's in Fort Worth, Texas, where there is a McDonald's, and I think they've opened up another one somewhere, but there's a McDonald's that's not run by people. It's run completely by automation. Everything is kiosks. All of the food and everything is just hooked up to the machines. When somebody orders something, it just comes through the chute or whatever, and people get their food in the same way as it would run if there were people there, except no people. It's all systems.
That's what Walmart did, when they self-checkout, same thing, their system. Look, they
Mhm.
took away the people, you know, and their system, it worked for itself. And of course, as much as we complain, we still go to Walmart,
Right, right.
and still go right to self-checkout and do, bag our own groceries the whole nine and still stop at the exit door and show these people our receipt, but
Right.
it's their system, and it works, you
And it
know.
works. It works. Absolutely. Okay. So what about, do you have a process in place to accelerate either your vendors or your customers up a ladder of ascension? Say, to incentivize them to purchase more, purchase higher, anything like that?
Yes, we for each quarter, for each quarter, our highest grossing vendor, we donate a portion of our earnings to the charity of their choice. It belongs and benefits our community. Um, when it comes to the now actual, I guess what you kind of like promotions, things like that. Um, we don't put them through the system itself. We allow the vendor to handle those because that will affect their pricing, and I don't want to affect their pricing.
Okay.
I mean, because like I said, I don't want to, I can't, if you're a vendor on my platform and say, hey, look, we're gonna do 25% off for the next hour, and I can actually go in there and change it myself if I wanted to, but I've never gone into a platform, won't ever do it or whatever have you, into a vendor's platform or whatever have you, because that's your business, you know what I mean? So I can't sit it because I'll make my money in volume. I could say 25% off for everybody and I'll be the only one that's winning, and I don't want to do business like that,
Right.
So,
Right.
So we just allow the vendor to control that.
But you don't offer any like higher ticket offers to your vendors or to
For
your
the
customers.
for the vendors
Yeah.
now, yes, for the vendors, of course. Now um, our percentage that we take from every order is not standard. I mean, it starts off as that, but it will never go higher than that. But it can go lower. I mean, if a vendor's, I think for every 100 or so orders they might process, we'll take a percent off of what we take. So I think we might have somebody might be making, we might be taking 17% from somebody, from the 23% because they do so well, but we make it up on the back end because they do so much in volume.
Okay.
And then for drivers, we incentivize the driver, especially because when we started out when we were doing food and all that kind of stuff there, especially being here in Houston, people had a tendency to, we joke about Netflix and chill ends a little bit differently when you go to Crab Legs versus McDonald's, and people, we have a lot of these places that are open at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning here in Houston. So of course we process a lot of orders that late, so we incentivize the drivers, that are actually driving that late at night for us.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Okay. And do you have any like affiliate programs in place or referral programs in place?
No,
incentivizing people to let other people know that you're there and,
no,
drivers to get more drivers.
No, we don't. And that's something that we've, like I said, I should have done, but I guess we should, when it comes to the businesses that we're dealing with, we even deal with home-based businesses. So it's kind of trying to find that sweet spot to where it can work for everybody. Because it might be a brick and mortar, it might be a food truck, it might be a home-based business. I mean, like I say, we have, people who sell clothes out of their home, almost drop shipping, but we do the delivery for them, or or they actually have an actual whole store, and so we trying to find that sweet spot to level the playing field that way everybody's equal, because one thing about us, we don't have any major stores on our platform,
Okay.
so we can't I guess incentivize like JCPenney's would, because the thing is we don't have a JCPenney. We would never ever have those places on our platform. And so just trying to make those things make sense. But I guess that goes into, I guess when we open up into a new market, I think when we go into Atlanta, I think that's what we will be having to incentivize a lot more when opening up there.
Okay. As I'm thinking about it, I'm like, well, depending on how you do your program, it doesn't necessarily have to be taking anything away from the vendors but like having even starting with the customers and incentivizing the customers to get more customers on the platform, um, but yeah, there's ways around everything. There's ways to do it. There's
Yeah.
ways to do it.
I think would
To
you count this an incentive? Okay, now what we do allow is, I guess, we actually pitch it this way. We allow vendors to use their own drivers,
interesting.
So vendors can use their own drivers, like when I started my company, my sons were my first 2 drivers, so, but, we allow vendors to use their own drivers. That way, when it comes to the delivery charge, I tell them, and I say this verbatim, this is how you beat me. And I'm like, how do you figure that? I'm like, well, look, if you have your own drivers, then that delivery charge, it goes back into your pocket. So whatever you were charging, so you might, the order might be $50 plus the delivery charge might be $15. Well, instead of that going, towards our pocket, coming out, you get all of that. So really, essentially, you're getting $65 for something you really was charging $50 for.
$50 for it, right? And so you're kind of incentivizing them
to use their own drivers.
To use their own drivers, and so you're collecting just a piece of the transaction, but not any of what comes in for the delivery.
Right. Well, we'll still take the 20% for the delivery, and the reason why we take the percentages is because of our payment processing. We are charged per order that's processed through our platform. So that's essentially what it is. So we don't.
Okay, so even though somebody pays for delivery through your platform, you're taking a percentage of the entire order total.
Yeah, I'm taking a percentage of the entire order total because
that
for
makes
it to be processed in the first place, it has to be paid. Like we're charged a certain fee for each one of those orders. So, so I guess we kind of offset that cost and make a small profit of it.
Yeah.
That's
the main part of that delivery charge would go to the vendor if they're using their own drivers.
Oh yeah. The main part of the whole entire order would go to the vendor itself. The vendor and the driver, right?
The vendor and the driver. Okay. Interesting. So we went through and we went through and we talked about how your customer journey is working. And we talked about like how you have pretty much 3 different audiences that you're reaching. But as I can see, like the biggest things that would probably help your business the best would be, setting up a consistent lead flow and doing some more automation as far as the support piece for your vendors, your drivers, as well as customers, because the more support you can offer, the more people are going to stay on the platform and the more they're going to share with others. And I feel like you might need an ascension plan, because it keeps people, it builds that lifetime value of a customer. And it keeps people coming back. It keeps them longer. They're going to spend the money anyway. Why not spend it with you? And I love the fact that you are doing quarterly donations to a charity that the vendor wants and wants to support. I think that's pretty awesome. But yeah, I think those are my biggest suggestions there. You're growing and you're expanding, but I feel like before you expand too much, like really nail down those processes and systems so that you don't run into the same issues that you're having now in a new location. Just nail it down. The new location it's going to have its own issues because every town has its own culture and its own, just its own personalities, so it's already going to come with its own issues. But if you nail down what you do perfectly, and it's running seamlessly, then when you go to a new town, those are things that you just won't have to worry about,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Makes sense?
Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So tell us where we can find you online, and for the folks who are in the cities that you are serving right now, how do they get your app and start supporting the businesses that are on there?
Okay, so online we are on Instagram, Facebook, Urban Goods with a Z delivery Urban Goods with a Z delivery. Our website is www.urbangoodswithazDelivery.com. As I said, you can go into the App Store, iOS and Android. We're available for download in any of those places. If you're looking for us in your city, and of course, the way our platform functions is if you see it on there, you can have it delivered. But so if you in a city that we're not in, please reach out to us, send us a message through our website. Let us know that you would like to see us in your city, and we'll start making the preparations, start doing our homework, and try to get out there, and open up in those places.
Absolutely. So tell us what cities you're in right now.
We're
One
currently
more
in
time for the people in the back.
we're in Houston, Texas, in the surrounding areas, surrounding cities in Houston, Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama. They're on the lookout for Atlanta coming up, Memphis, Tennessee, and we actually just got a contract in Tulsa. So,
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Wonderful. So we'll see you in Atlanta soon, and
yes,
maybe
we will.
hopefully in DC soon.
Oh yes, hopefully, because we were actually somebody actually expressed interest for us to come out there a while back.
Yeah, got to come to Chocolate City.
Already.
All righty, wonderful. Thank you so much, DeAndre,
Thank
for
you for
being such
having
a
me.
good sport and letting us talk about your business here. I'm Simone Henry. I talk marketing. This channel is all about marketing. And like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to the channel.